Okay, you guys, hello. It is Millennial MP and welcome back to my channel. I wanted to do a quick run through of exactly what I saw on this test before I start forgetting stuff, okay? I took my AANP yesterday. I passed, so woo, I passed. That was on my first try. So I am proud to tell you all, to the world, that yes, I kept my streak. I have passed my EMS board, my EMTB basic board a long time ago. My LPN, my RN, and now my FNP, 4 boards, okay? I have a long running streak of all of them being passed on the first shot. Whew, I'm so proud. Okay, moving on. So that tells me that pretty much nothing I have done has changed. The only thing that changed over the years was obviously the material has to be different for every board, but the way I do my board studying is effective. And honestly, like, the boards really haven't changed throughout. Like, I know that sounds kind of weird, but like all of the exams are kind of designed by the same people almost. So you're gonna see the way they question things kind of, standard. Multiple choice. I got no pictures on my test. I didn't have to like highlight or locate anything. I got a lot of pediatric patients. I got a lot of dermatology, like big time derm, and mostly in kids, so it was kind of unique. You kind of had to think about the kid aspect when you're deciding on antibiotics, so I had a few of those. Trina Waldron review had explained that you would get one medication or the other. You would never see the medications duplicated. So I got a lot of first and second choice drugs. So for example, like I had one patient who you had to decide between whether the kid was going to get amoxicillin, clavulanate, and amoxicillin. I don't remember what it was for anymore. I know that's terrible. It's already gone so fast. The fact that you could get amoxicillin and amoxicillin clavulanate. So, that kind of was a bit challenging, but it wasn't exactly unheard of. So I saw, I would say, a handful of drug questions that asked you which drug you needed, but what medication should you be concerned about if the patient is drinking grapefruit juice? So, that one popped up. I saw questions that asked things like, what medication threw this person into, like, most likely into CHF or hypertension medications. You're looking at your statins, you're looking at your diuretics, you're looking at all these other drugs. So, all right, this is just me jogging my mind. I'm going to ramble. I didn't have any questions that asked me what drug I could give a patient when they were pregnant. So I saw questions that popped up similar to that. They would use, patients that were very young. I got quite a few geriatric patients. Ooh, one question was kind of good now that I think about it. It asked, okay, so this poor woman is going to be, her husband wants her to care for him. He doesn't want anybody else. Narrowed it down to 2 answers, and one of the answers said was somatic. So I always remembered the word psychosomatic. So you're kind of like creating reasons that you're having a psychological kind of, they present in a psychological manner. So psychosomatic just kind of sticks in my mind. So when I saw that and I saw the other option, it said it was like psychological agitation or something. So these terms that were thrown around were not terms that I saw at all when I was studying. So I guess they're branching out into something, or that question was a test question, like a tester question. So I don't know if it was even graded. So I thought that was kind of unique. Oh, I flagged about, I felt honestly like I flagged a lot less than I could have. Anxiety level was way up here. I was like, okay, like I was that girl, who like showed up wearing a hoodie, wearing like a big puffy jacket because I'm north. I took the test up here and it's colder, but I wear sweats. I wore comfortable sneakers. I looked like a hobo, honestly. I looked like a sporty hobo. So when I decided what my wardrobe was, it was going to be just like, yeah, I'm going to go in as comfortably as possible. I don't give a crap. I don't give a who is going to see me wearing this. So I went into this test center and I remember talking to these ladies, you know, they kind of make it seem like a big deal. Like you walk in, oh my gosh, you need to remove that. You can't have that. You can't have this, you know? So, you know, as I start stripping, obviously I'm putting my jacket, my hoodie. They won't let you go into hoodies into the test now with a hoodie. You cannot go into the test wearing like a watch or anything. I asked for 2 forms of ID. I brought my passport. Oh, what else? What else did I see that was kind of crazy? Do not change your schedule. What does that mean? So when you prepare for a test, like a big important test, like such as this one, it is a great idea to not do anything that you haven't been doing before. So that means if you drink a cup of coffee at 9 a.m. in the morning, make sure you get your coffee in. Like, think about trying to go to bed sooner than later, but I know that you're so anxious, so it's kind of tricky. Get the best sleep you can. I don't recommend trying to force yourself to sleep with like a melatonin or a Benadryls and things like that, because, you know, we're nurses, hey, and we're going to try that crap. I don't recommend that because it throws your system off. You might be groggy in the morning from a Benadryl, for example. So I don't recommend it. If you didn't get a good night's sleep, you know, it's kind of like that catch-22. I slept about 3-4 hours, honestly. I was anxious. I was like, you know, I was just like, I was over it, but that was exactly what I did. I went to sleep and I woke up at literally 4:30 on the dot, and I started moving. I started to do it. I literally had, I would say about 20 minutes to spare when I finished, and the time is important. I don't know how to stress that enough to people. You cannot sit there and just, oh my God, that question, oh my gosh, how do I answer it? And then you do that for like a minute. You do not have time to do that. You mark it, you put what you think is your best answer, and you move, okay? You keep going. Learning to be able to pull apart the question. Reading the stems isn't an exception question. Knowing what they're asking for, like, okay, so I can tell they're describing varicella, or they're describing erythema of blah, 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 or some kind of, you know, whatever it is they're trying to describe. You should be able to at least identify something about it. You might not know 100% what it is, but if you know the cardinal symptoms for like pneumonias, those are things you need to be able to pick apart when you read these questions, and you have a minute, okay? You have a minute to do that. And if you can't match that minute, then you need to go back and start practicing your times. You will build up time, like you'll build it up as you start noticing, or as you start taking practice tests, or like your school, like my school made us do it. We would have to do a 150 question test every single semester, so that you started understanding, okay, if you can't finish the test, you're screwed. Like, you're gonna lose all those points. Every point counts on that test. I think like on average, you shouldn't miss, I know this sounds horrible, but you should not be missing 40 questions or 50 questions. That's a huge chunk of the test. You need to be able to get that number of wrong answers way down. I'll do my best to explain this. I might have to do this a few times, but and that's okay. I will try to explain it as fast as I can. So 20 minutes, I marked about 19 questions on that test. Mind you, I marked them because I just wanted to double check. Along during the test, you will gain information about something, like you might have questioned yourself, and you can use that information later for some of those questions, which is a technique that not everybody really talks about, but I use it. The values on these tests, for example, like They say that you should write them down. You'll see them once. They brought them back up multiple times. To make my life easier though, I would write them out. The test literally was like, the question bar was like right here, right across the top. It was so tiny. It was like this. And then the questions themselves, like, I don't know, they were like, right, 1, 2, 3, 4 of obviously ABCDs, but like the question box was like super, super tiny. Like I really had to get up there and like, what the hell does that say? Oh my God. So that was kind of surprising to me, because it looks nothing like the I thought it was going to be modern looking. I thought it was going to be like, I don't know, I got a little spoiled looking at the Leak app, so it was kind of surprising, right? I marked 19 of them. So those 19 I marked, like I said, I marked them because either A, I needed more time to review the question, B, I met the 1 minute and I was still deciding between 1 or 2. So then I would flag it. I would pick one. Always do not leave an answer unanswered. Always answer it. Okay. Because worst case scenario, you answered it and it could be the right answer and you ran out of time, but you still answered it. So you're good. So you got that point. That is another big reason. So do not ever leave a question unanswered. If you do not hear anything else from my video, don't leave a question unanswered. Answer it. Then come back. You want to be able to kind of just recognize that, hey, maybe you missed something on the first run. A lot of those questions can be really tough. They're not exactly tricky. They're not exactly meant to trick you, but they are not just easy right off the bat. You have to learn how to think critically. I think everybody I've heard, like as in review people, have told me the same thing. You need to think critically about what you're doing. Understand the disease process. Understand why we are picking what we are picking to treat that patient. Why are we waiting and watching? Why are we not just giving them an antibiotic? Oh, why? Because it's a virus? Okay, I took a break in the test. All right. Give yourself, like when you can feel yourself getting to the point where you're like, I'm ready to tap out. In my case, I was ready to pee myself because I drink a lot of coffee and I drink a lot of water and I peed like 3 times. I know this is a lot of information, but let's be real, guys. That's what I had to do. I was panicking, okay? I was pulling some freaking power poses before I walked into that thing. I was having my own mini panic attack on the inside when I walked into that place, okay?